This is the locations that we're talking about where Pakistan attempted to fire its rockets earlier today. And these were the locations we're talking about. We're talking about Awantipura and Srinagar right there in Jammu, Kashmir. There's also Jammu that we're talking about, Pathankot, Amritsar, Kapurthala over here, as well as Jalandhar and Ludhiana, Adampur in Punjab, Bhatinda and Chandigarh as well. The other locations that we're talking about are Nal, Falodi and Uttar Lai, and later here in Bhuj. So if you look at the entire location, it's our entire western region, Shreya, that has been attempted to be targeted by Pakistan, but they were not successful in this attempt. All these locations, as Srinjoy was telling us, are where we have defense installations, largely airstrips amongst these, but all of this was successfully thwarted, with India being able to utilize the S-400 air defense system.
Absolutely. You know, this is what I was talking about, Madhav, earlier, that the attempt to gherav India from this part, this border, has been successfully responded to by the Indian Armed Forces. And let me take this across to Brahmachalani. Brahmachalani, you know, this, all right, we'll try and reconnect with Brahmachalani.
Yes,
but
not just the S-400, Madhav.
Yes.
The Indian Army, the Air Force comes later, the Indian Army alone. Now, let's not forget that Jalandhar, for instance, is a corps headquarters.
Yeah.
The 11 corps headquarters is in Jalandhar. Now, the Indian Army has not just the S-400s, the Air Force, but the Army has something like the Tungushka. Then the armed forces have the Shilka. The armed forces have other air defense systems. So these areas are full of air defense systems. The S-400, of course, you have the Tungushka, you have the Shilka, then you have the other, even shoulder-fired air defense systems like the Igla and so on. There's no shortage of it. So if there is an attack, they can be countered, and countered quite easily.
that's right. Go ahead, Madhav.
No, absolutely. And in fact, it can be countered easily, as you rightly put it. In fact, it's not just the Air Force, not just the Army, but as you were mentioning, Navy munitions that were also used. And so, I mean, as several of our panelists have been observing, it's a whole of government approach that has been put in place. Citizens have been informed. Citizens also as stakeholders, particularly in such times of crisis. We've seen the kind of mock drills. We've seen the kind of civil defense volunteers being mobilized. All of that has happened in a very phased and organized manner across the country. Governments have been sensitized, whether the level of state or center. All of their departments are also aware of the importance of what India is doing and the clear and unequivocal message that's being sent out to Pakistan. Shreya.
That's right. You know, not just domestically, Madhav. Srinjoy, you want to come in on this? The fact that we've also reached out to different countries and global fora, whether it's the UNSC or other fora, you know, this is the fact, this is the on-ground situation. Do not believe Pakistan's propaganda, because that is what Pakistan does. They lie about it, they play the victim card, and, you know, tell the world that they are the victims of terror, when in fact they are the perpetrators of terror.
For years and years, Pakistan used to say that we are the victims of terrorism. Now the world will hear this and fall down laughing. But to answer your question, India reached out even yesterday to 9 countries, all the P5 countries, China included. Ajit Doval spoke to his counterpart in China, also to the Americans, to Marco Rubio, to the British, to the French, and to the Chinese. All of them were spoken with. Besides that, we've spoken with the Japanese, and importantly, three countries in the Gulf: Saudi Arabia, the UAE and Qatar, all friendly countries. And why won't we speak to them? We tell them very clearly that, look, we have hit only terrorist targets and nowhere else.
Into confidence right after the Pahalgam attack, and then
Also,
after Operation Sindoor as well. I want to quickly go across to Tetri. She's joining us with some live reports. Yes, Tetri.
Well, yes, currently, let me tell you that I am present over here in Bhuj district, and it is one of the busiest area. That's the bus station where we are reporting right now. And in fact, this bus station was also targeted by Pakistan. And in fact, that is what India has been saying, that again and again, Pakistan has been targeting, and a number of times the Pakistan will target. India will give a befitting reply. One by one, we'll show you the visuals over here. You see the damage that has been done to this particular bus. The entire sheet of this bus has in fact torn apart from this entire panel over here. Not just that, but the tires are punctured, tires are damaged. Remember that this is why I'm saying that this is one of the most busiest area, because this is a very very densely populated area, and the local bus are certainly stationed over here. You can see that how these window panes of this particular buses are broken. Imagine at that particular point of time when there was a ceasefire violation, when the mortars were fired, what the condition must have been. Not a single window pane is over here. You can see that the glasses are broken, all shattered, and the tire over here is completely damaged, and also it has in fact marks of the mortars that were fired from the side of Pakistan. And that is what India has been saying, that India in fact was has been retaliating just because Pakistan has been doing such kind of attempts, and that is why in fact we have been showing you the ground reports and live visuals, live pictures to the viewers of Times Now, that what kind of cowardly attacks Pakistan has been making. You see that such kind of the dents that has been caused on the buses, that clearly shows that it was not just it was a targeted attack, because Pakistan knows that there's a dense population over here. We'll also in fact go inside the bus and show you the kind of attempts that's been made by Pakistan. The glasses over here are completely shattered. Keep on showing you the visuals over there on my left hand side, Amitji. We'll highlight the pictures over here also, that how these buses have been targeted. So it is definitely clear that Pakistan wanted that the innocent civilians who were in fact in this bus, they should be targeted. And in fact the India in its statement has also clearly mentioned that how Pakistan increased the intensity of unprovoked firing across the line of control, and mortars were used, artilleries were used, and in fact they also mentioned the areas like Kupwara, Baramulla, Uri, Poonch, and Poonch is the area from where we are reporting right now. And on we have been saying that it was an unprovoked firing, and 16 innocent individuals have lost their lives, and that is why in fact India was compelled to respond. And you see imagine the condition if the individuals would have been sitting over here, the passengers would have been sitting over here, then what their condition must have been. All of them would have to lose their lives. And you see, not just here, but the damage was caused over here at the Poonch also. So India was at a time when sitting, in fact after operation Operation Sindoor, Pakistan again started with such kind of unprovoked firing. And you see this entire iron gate, this is also damaged. It shows the kind of attacks and attempts that were made by Pakistan. And one thing is very much clear, that Pakistan knows that civilians are staying in this area. That is why they are targeting again and again this particular area. And India has been retaliating just because of the kind of attacks that Pakistan has been making on the innocent civilians. We showed that how the gurudwaras were attacked. We showed how the temples were attacked. And not just this, but the intensity must have been so high, because the two buses are damaged over here. This particular depot is damaged.